Surface. 7.2 is about refraction at spherical surface, and the last one is for thin lenses. So 7.1 is actually about mirror. Okay, and in 7.1 we actually have few subtopics, and then few things that you need to know lah. Learning outcomes. Number A is that you have to state radius curvature R equals to 2F for spherical mirror. Sketch ray diagram with a minimum of 2 rays to determine the characteristic of image formed by a spherical mirror. And then afterwards, you guys will learn about how to use these two equations. Okay, I left out the equation for the next lesson, so tomorrow. But so for this one, for today, we'll learn about these two first. We'll focus on these two, which is about to state R equals to 2F, and another one is about to sketch the ray diagrams. Okay, so if I show you a picture like this, okay, so what is the first thing that comes into your mind? I mean, where do you normally observe this kind of mirror? I mean, where can you see these two?
Supermarket, sir.
Supermarket, very good. Other than that?
Dekat corner jalan.
Dekat corner jalan, very good. Right? Road, okay, good.
Roadside.
Roadside, okay, good, very good. Ni pun kat road kan, obviously lah. Okay, so when you see this type of mirror, do you think that it is actually the same mirror that you see at your room, or is it a different kind of mirror?
Different, sir.
Sama ke dengan mirror? Different. So what is the difference?
Yang ni dia lagi jelas dan lagi besar. Berbandingan tu dia biasa
Besar,
dia.
okay. Okay, good. So, Firas ada Firas. So, Firas, ada anything nak tambah? Firas.
No, sir.
No, okay. Okay. What is the advantage of using this kind of mirror? I mean, this type of mirror. Anyone? Salah tak?
Accident.
Sorry, Syaira?
Supaya tak accident, sir. Dia selalu tak cornerkan sebab nak avoid accident.
Okay, very good. And then Daniel said nampak objek dari jauh. Okay, good, very good. Okay, so one of the key advantages of using this kind of mirror, actually you have a bigger perspective of view. Right? So basically you can see more lah. More is good in terms of certain things. Okay, anyway, we move from this one first. Okay, reflection of light is defined as the return of all part of a beam of light when it encounters the boundary between the two media. Okay, so this is an example of reflected ray. So this is the incident ray, and the blue one is the incident, and then the red one is the reflected. And this is the reflected surface. So if you have a smooth surface, then you expect that the angle between incident dengan reflected ray will be the same. If you have a rough surface or so you expect that the reflected light will goes in a different direction. Okay, example over here, you can see that if you have a smooth water, then you can see that the image of the mountain is very clear. And while if you have a rough surface over here, like a wavy water, then the image is a bit blurry. So this is the examples. That one is just for your knowledge. Something that is more closer to your syllabus is this one, spherical mirror. Why is it called a spherical mirror? Okay, it's a reflecting surface that is part of a sphere. Okay, so this is an example of reflecting surface, which is what we call the mirror. Okay, it is actually part of a bigger sphere or a bigger circle. You can see here, if 2D circle, so this is the small part and this is the bigger part. Okay, this is what we call the imaginary sphere or imaginary circle. So as you can expect, you will have a center of the sphere or center of the circle over there. Okay, we call that one as center of curvature. There's two types of mirror in your syllabus. One is concave mirror and another one is convex mirror. Okay, the easiest way to memorize this, for me personally, I remember that this one is a cave. So dia macam masuk dalam gua lah, dia cengkung, like this. Okay, convex is the opposite one. So I always remember the letter X there, nampak macam gemuk. So dia cembung. It's up to you lah, how you want to remember that one. That's just my point of view. Okay, so concave is like a cave shaped like this. Okay, and convex is shaped like this. Actually, the ray comes from in that direction. So behind the mirror, normally kita akan lorikkan like this. Maybe do a dot line like that. Okay, kamu jangan buat macam ni pula, nanti dia jadi macam apa tu, bulu mata. So buat cakap belakang tu lah, belakang mirror, behind that. So the black part is the part that you have to draw. Yang green ni tak ada, you don't have to draw. And this one, surface ni, if I rotate, then it becomes something like this. Okay, biasanya saya hafal benda ni macam poly. So you can imagine, if you want to determine the behavior or the properties of a surface. So if you imagine that this one macam poly, let's say if you drop water all over this space, and where do you think the water will go? Is it will go in one spot or many spots?
One spot in the
One
middle.
spot in the middle. So that one is what we call converging punya behavior. So if you have a ray of diagram, ray of light, the banyak rays, okay, everything is parallel, so it will be reflected and then it will be focused in one point. So that focus is what we call the focal point over here. Okay, so the behavior there is what we call a converging surface. Right, nama dia concave mirror, but the properties adalah converging. And because it is converging, because it's converging, you have a positive F. This is very important because like I told before, in the next class, we learn about how to use the formula. We have formula of 1 over F equals to 1 over U plus 1 over V, which is a vector equation. So vector equation means you have to determine the positive and negative for each one of these, right? So F is positive or negative, it depends on the type of mirror. So we start with the first one, which is the F here. So F is positive for converging. The same goes for the lens. If the lens, the behavior is converging, you will have a positive F. Okay. For convex mirror, the behavior, if you want to imagine, if you have macam tadi, squally, and then you drop lots of water over here, then you can see that the water will spread out. Keluar lah. So that behavior is what we call diverging. And kalau kita ada rays of light, it will be reflected off from the surface, from the focal point. Okay. Tadi reflected to focal point, now it will be reflected off the focal point. And that concept is diverging surface. Okay, and this one obviously is opposite to the other one, so it's negative F. Okay, so that this one is very important. Even if you don't have to draw, we need to know which one is positive F and negative F. So cara yang paling senang nak hafal, you remember concave mirror, what is the shape? Okay, then you imagine kalau cahaya tu datang masuk dalam kuali atau belakang kuali, is it converging or diverging? So you determine whether it's positive or negative F. Every single time you want to answer, you have to ask yourself those kind of questions. Okay, so this one is a clearer diagram of converging mirror and diverging mirror. So if you guys still remember, so this one is a converging mirror. You can see that all the rays, reflected rays, pointing towards the focal point. I want to ask you guys now, do you think that this one adalah positive F or negative F? I'm going to put a pole, and maybe you guys can see it. Did you get the pole?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So try to answer for the concave mirror. Is it positive F or negative F? You know, I know how many people are here actually. So this one actually adalah positive F. Very good. Okay, very good. This is nice. Okay. And then convex mirror, that one is a diverging mirror. So the behavior shows that it is actually a negative F. Okay, so for those who haven't vote, you can vote as the time goes on. Mungkin nak berfikir kot, masih sedikit kan. Okay. So previously, in previous diagram, I show you a few important symbols like F and C. So I'm going to show you clearly over here. Okay, so when you try to draw the ray diagram, the first thing that you're going to draw is the principal axis. Okay, yang black line, yang horizontal line tu is what we call the horizontal axis. Okay, I think my screen might be a little bit lagging, so bear with me. And then at the center there, between the principal axis, the intersection between principal axis and the mirror is what we call the pole, P. Okay, that one you don't have to label lah, you just have to know. And sometimes, normally it's called vertex. And then we have C and F. Okay, remember, I told you before, this mirror is actually part of a bigger sphere or a bigger circle lah. So you can imagine the center of the circle, if this is my imaginary sphere, it will be over here. If this is my C, if I draw it over here, if this is my C, center of curvature, basically it is a distance from the surface toward the center. This is what we call the radius of the curvature. So the distance here would be R. Okay. And then half of this, exactly half, is your focal point, capital F. Okay. The length between the surface and the focal point is what we call focal length, small f. So point, capital F, the length itself is small f. So if this one is double, right, so you can have an equation that R is equals to 2F over here. Okay, screen saya lag sikit. So R is equals to 2F means that focal length is actually half of the radius. Okay, because in exam, sometimes they give you the radius of the mirror, sometimes they give you the focal length. But for sure, they takkan kasih whether it's positive or negative. So you have to determine whether it's positive or negative. Kalau positif lagi lah. Okay, so this is the key important thing. So basically, if you draw, you have to draw the principal axis, the mirror itself, and then F and C. Okay, this is the important parts. Okay, any questions so far? Anything that you
No, sir.
No, sir.
No,
Yes.
Okay, moving on to the next one. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to draw the ray diagram for spherical mirror. So what is the ray diagram? It's a graphical method to indicate the position of object and image. So the main reason of this is that you want to determine the position of the image and the properties of the image. Dua benda lah yang penting. So normally in exam, maybe they will ask you to draw, maybe they not. And if they ask, the marks will be maybe around 2 marks. Dia tak banyak pun. Tapi it's very important because this is the basis. So if you can draw, basically you don't have to memorize anything. And so if you cannot draw, you have to memorize lots of image properties, which is something that we don't want. So normally, if you can draw, then it should be okay. Okay, so the key concept here is that you have to draw at least 2 rays. And the minimum rays that you have to draw is 2. Okay, so actually there's 4 rays, but in your syllabus you only learn 3. So you can choose 2 lah daripada 3 ni. Okay, ray number 1, the incident ray is parallel to the principal axis. You guys still remember principal axis tadi yang horizontal kan? So the incident ray is horizontal, and then reflected off from the surface. This one is reflected, and then it passes through or it comes from F. It depends on whether it is a converging or diverging mirror. Okay, ray number 2, it goes toward F and then reflected parallel to the principal axis. Dia terbalik dengan tadi. Tadi dia parallel pergi ke F, and this one pergi ke F and then parallel. And then the third one is towards C and goes back in the same direction. Okay, so kalau saya cerita macam ni maybe tak nampak sangat lah. Nak tak nak kita kena lukis lah. So now we're gonna draw image formed by a convex mirror. So I'm gonna erase everything first. I'm gonna show you step by step on how to draw. Okay, this one is a convex mirror. So first of all, you have to draw the principal axis. Okay, and then you have to draw the mirror itself. Convex mirror. Macam gua ke tak macam gua? I mean, is it
Bukan gold.
bukan gua So when you try to draw mirror tu, jangan kecil sangat. Okay, and then my advice is jangan cembung sangat. I mean, the curve is not too much. If you draw it like this, then you most likely you get how to say, the image form might not be at the actual position. Don't draw like this. So try to draw something very sikit je lah, curve dia. As long as you can see that is a curve. Okay. So kalau lens, you don't have this problem because the refracted rays memang dekat tengah. But for mirror, reflected mesti atas surface. Okay, I'm going to show you soon so you guys can see lah. So I just do this one, and then don't forget to do the lorry. So to indicate that this is actually behind the mirror on that side. Okay, and then you have to determine the position of C and F. So the C will it be on your right or on your left? So the right pole, C, F, C, right or left? Right, F, launch. I'm gonna end previous pole first. Oh, no, I'm gonna go. Okay. So C and F. Is it on the right hand side or on the left hand side? In this example, the one that I draw. Okay. Okay, good, very good. Very good. Very good. So I see lots of right answer. Sorry, I mean lots of student answer to the right, other ones answer to the left. Makes sense. So if you guys got confused, you imagine that this one is part of a sphere or part of a circle. So this is the circle, right? So center of the circle should be here. And if the center of the circle is over here, the F is over there. So that means the center and the F will be on the right. In this case, this example. Okay, good, very good. Okay, ramai jawab, ramai betul. So this one, if this is my F, then this would be my C. Okay, if you draw it in exam, make sure you measure the distance between F dengan C tu. Okay, jangan buat kecil-kecil, jangan kedekut lah. And then if from the mirror to the F, you draw like 3 cm, make sure F to C is 3 cm, according to actual scale. And then you only have F and C on one side. You don't draw F and C over here. If you draw, it's wrong lah. Buat satu je. Okay. And then the object position. So you draw an object. Let's say the object's over here. Okay, make sure your object smaller than the mirror itself lah. Kalau takkan macam mana pula? Sekarang tengok cermin kecil kan. Okay, so the first ray that you want to draw, just now I use blue color. So blue color for ray 1, it goes straight ataupun parallel to the principal axis. This is the principal axis. Okay, so it goes straight, and then it will be reflected off the surface. Yeah. The main properties of a mirror is that it will reflect light. Okay, light tu terpantul. Light tu takkan masuk dalam mirror. Direct lah. So when it is being reflected, in this case, it will be reflected off the F. So you can imagine this one is actually reflected from the F. Okay, but this one, you don't have to draw that one yet. Okay, but you can see, so make sure you draw the ray, got 2 arrow per ray. Satu ray ada 2 arrow. Incident and the reflected. Okay, this is ray 1. You don't have to label ray 1, just label it. Okay. And remember, if you draw the second ray, okay, I draw the second ray first. Second ray is actually going to F. Okay, I just use the same color here, red. Okay. Go to F, but then it is being reflected on the surface. Okay, and when it is being reflected, it is parallel to the principal axis, like that. Okay, if you draw these two, you can see that these 2 rays are diverging. So it makes sense because this one is a convex mirror. Okay, the properties of convex mirror, this one is belakang kuali, right? So this one is diverging. F, is it positive or negative F?
Negative.
Negative F, very good. So this one is a negative F. Okay, so everything so far makes sense. And you can see that since this one is diverging on this side, so you can predict that actually the intersection will be somewhere over here on the right hand side. But because the light does not pass through there, so you have to draw like a dotted trace. Okay, so biasanya saya panggil ni sebagai echo. The tail of the reflected light. So the tail of the reflected light means the light has been reflected and dia punya tail lah. So like this case, this is the example. This is the reflected ray. Echo dia is this one. Okay, jangan lukis incident ray punya kepala. Make sure you understand this concept. Same goes to the second ray. This is the incident light. Okay, common mistake in exam, student will make dotted line over there. Salah. Dia mesti from the reflected ray. This is the reflected ray, so the tail will be like that. Understand or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So this one would be the intersection will be your image. Okay, we label this one as I and the object as O. Okay, make sure to label. So if you draw like this, okay, you don't have to label 1, 2 dengan this one, you don't have to label. If you draw it like this, you should get the full mark already. Okay, but for learning purpose, I'm going to draw the third ray, but you don't have to in exam. Mainly because the third one, sometimes you didn't get at the same position. And the student got confused because mainly because maybe dia lukis tu lari sedikit, maybe dia punya curve ni lari sedikit, and those kind of thing will affect. So normally you just have to draw 2 lines, as one intersect, and that one is the answer. Okay, you just have to keep it like that. Okay, the third ray, kalau apa tadi sebagai green, okay. Okay, the third ray goes through C, towards C, and then being reflected off. Okay, so dia pergi ke C like that. Okay, but then instead of going through, dia patah balik lah. Nampak? There you go. Okay, kita kena erase everything first. Okay, make sure you use ruler when you try to draw this kind of thing. Okay, make sure ada 2 arrow, one going in and then one going out. Okay, the third ray ni student always forget when it's being reflected punya arrow, sebab dia reflected kat tempat sama. So kalau dia tak lukis 2 arrow, then tolak markah lah, bilang 1 markah, sayang, maka dah 2 je. Again, the tail of the reflected light will be like this. Okay, I guess clear on this about ray diagram.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Image tu patut tegak sikit lah tu ya, saya macam sini sikit. Anyway, okay, there's 3 important characteristic for image. Setiap image tu dia sebenarnya ada 3 karakteristik, and you can state any one of this. Biasanya dia tanya 2 lah, so biasanya you have to state 2. Kadang-kadang dia tanya 3. So the 3 main characteristics, either the image is real or virtual, either it is upright or inverted, or it is magnified or diminished. Or means salah satu lah. Okay, if for the first characteristic, real or virtual, so you have to ask yourself, the behavior of a mirror, will it reflect the light ataupun light passes through? Light hit a mirror surface, will it be reflected or passes through? Masuk dalam ke pantau balik? Okay guys, okay?
Dalam.
Terbalik.
Pantau balik kan? Kalau mirror, dia mesti pantau balik. Remember that. Okay, so the image, okay, very good, Daniel. So the image form should be somewhere over here. Sepatutnya lah. On the left hand side. Wait, my screen is lagging a little bit. So if the image form on the left hand side, that means that part is the real. Dekat mana dia sepatutnya terbentuk, that one is the real part. Understand? So the opposite side, which is inside the mirror or behind the mirror, ada student dia memang tak boleh nampak inside or behind the mirror, so I just put as this side is virtual. I'm still waiting for my screen to catch up with me. Yeah. Okay, and that side is virtual. Okay, so I'm gonna write it again. So everything on this side, if the image form on this side, we call this one as virtual. On this side is a real image. Okay. There's a key significance about this. If the image form is virtual, then your V is negative. Mana datang V pula? Jadi saya cakap, kalau real ni, the V is positive. Okay. So before this, when you try to draw the ray diagram, there's a key things that you have to consider. One is the position of the object. So the position of the object, the distance from the object to the surface of the mirror is what we call the object distance U. This part is U actually. Okay. The distance between the image and the surface is what we call V, image distance. And that V can be positive, can be negative. It depends on the position. Like in this example here, it should be a negative V. Okay. And in exam, you have to determine yourself. Like U is normally for your syllabus is positive. Unless it involves two lengths. But now, dah tak ikut sama two lengths. So, for this one, remember, if it is behind, it's a negative. In front, real is a positive. Okay, so it's very important for you guys to understand the characteristic. By the way, can you guys hear me clearly? Or is it putus-putus?
Clear,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, sebab I think internet ni mungkin dah start slow. Okay, anyway, the next characteristic is between upright and inverted. So upright, you can imagine lah, they sit ke atas. Inverted is the opposite. So because we assume that our object is in normal position like ke atas, then anything yang ke bawah is inverted. Okay, so in that regards, this part will be upright, and if opposite, down here is downright. Sorry, downright, inverted. Okay. And then you can label the height of the image with a symbol HI. The height of the object we label with a symbol H naught. Okay. Even HI and H naught can be positive or negative. Okay, so height of the image, if it is upright, it is a positive H. If it is inverted, it's negative H. Okay, object jarang lah negative. Yang image biasanya positive or negative. Okay, that was about the second characteristic. So each one of these ada makna dia dalam formula. Later on, we will learn about it. H image, negative H I. Okay, this one is positive V and negative V. Okay, and then the last one is about magnified and diminished. Magnified, obviously, the image is bigger than the initial object. Diminished, the image will be smaller than the initial object. The significance of that is that in terms of M. So if it is magnified, M, magnification is bigger than 1. Later on you will learn. And diminished M is less than 1. Okay, if it is the same, then M is equals to 1. So ada lagi satu karakteristik lah. If same, then M is equals to 1. Okay. The three main characteristics. Okay, now I'm going to ask you guys, for our image that we drew just now, is it real or virtual?
Virtual, sir.
Okay, good, very good.
It is virtual.
Virtual.
Okay, so I'm going to cancel this one. Okay, is it upright or inverted image?
Upright.
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 Good. Is
It's
it
upright.
same magnify or diminish?
Diminish.
Okay, good. Very good.
Diminish.
Diminish.
Okay, so the three main characteristics for our drawing just now is virtual, upright, and diminish. And then remember, each one of these means something. Virtual means negative V, upright means positive HI, diminish means M is less than 1. Don't forget to put the modulus. Okay, so you need to have a modulus here. So in fact, negative M actually represent the image is inverted as well. Nanti later lah kita belajar nanti kita belajar pasal M formula tu. Okay, I'm going to show you one more example before I'm going to ask you to draw. I'm going to ask you guys to draw. This one is image formed by concave mirror. So let's say if I put an object over here. So this object is actually further away than the radius of the mirror, radius of the curvature. I try to make this one a little bit further so that you can see a clearer image. Okay, that one is the position of the object. O, and start with the blue, red, and then green. Okay, the blue one goes straight and then reflected off. Okay, this one, have the positive and negative. Okay, dulu. This one is concave mirror.
Positive.
Okay, good. This is a positive F, this is a converge. Okay, so you expect the lights will be converging in one spot, towards one spot. Okay, so this is the first ray. Okay, and then the second ray goes through the F before being reflected off and move horizontal to the principal axis. Okay, so from these two rays, we can see that the image form will be over here. Okay, I can try to draw the third ray, but most likely I will get in the same position. Mainly sebab saya nak cepat tadi, and saya mungkin lari sedikit. Anyway, this is our image. So what do you think about the characteristic of the image? Ada tiga tadi kan? Apa karakteristik dia? Number one, is it upright or inverted?
Inverted.
Inverted.
Okay, good. So if inverted, H dia positive ke negative? HI.
Negative.
Okay, very good. So how about real or virtual image?
Real, sir.
Real.
Real.
Okay, very good. And so the V will be positive or negative?
Positive.
Positive.
And then the last one, magnified or diminish? Saya dah tulis.
Diminish, sir.
Diminish.
So M will be less than 1. Okay, now for now, I want you guys to draw a ray diagram for concave mirror. When, okay, so I'm going to divide you into a group and I'm going to separate you into a breakout room. So group 1, you have to draw this one. Draw inside the Jamboard. After that, I will give you the link. Group 2, draw this one. Group 3, draw this one. And group 4, draw that one. Okay, if you don't understand, you can ask me later, okay, about these 4 things. So example over here, if U equals to R, means that U, the object, is positioned over there. Okay. If it is between F and R, it's somewhere over there. U equals to F. Sorry, I think this one terbalik. This one should be F and C, like that. Okay, so when U is equals to F, the object is over there. Okay, less is over there. Okay, draw at least 2 rays. Okay, you have to state the 3 properties of the image. So discuss with your friends and state the 3 characteristics, the properties. If you got time, we choose randomly and we present. Okay, the time given will be 10 minutes. If you can do faster, it will be better. And afterward, we will present. Okay, I'm going to give you the link. of the Jamboard itself. Okay, so you have to open the link first, because once you transfer to the backup room, you miss out on this check. Okay, I also give to inside your Telegram, so you can see. So for groups, time is 10 minutes. So after 10 minutes, you guys will come back over here. Okay. If you got any question, you can ask lah, pick up angkat tangan. Okay, how are you guys? You guys back here?
Yes, sir. Alright, sir.
Yes, sir, here.
So how? Okay,
Okay, sir. Cuma sebab buat kat Jamboard kan.
dia macam, yalah, kita nak membaris kot. Okay, we start with group 2 first. Want to point out group 2. So group 1 tadi, Daniel still sending me the picture. Dah send belum? Oh, Daniel dah hantar. Okay. Okay, tak apa. We start with group 2 first, and then we go back to group 1. Okay, group 2. Somebody explain what are you guys doing?
Hello sir, so boleh dengar ke?
Boleh? Boleh.
Okay.
Explain. Okay.
Because first kita orang lukis objek dulu kan. So objek dia between focus point tu dengan C.
Okay.
So macam saya kata tadi, first lukis daripada objek, lepas tu pergi ke fokus. So macam yang tu lah, yang warna orange tu. Lepas tu daripada fokus tu pergi daripada objek pergi ke fokus dan pantun balik. So kenapa dia real? Sebab dia dekat bahagian real tu kita inverted, kita boleh nampak dia terbalik. Dia magnified, kita nampak dia lagi besar pada objek asal dia.
Okay, very good. Okay.
Alright,
So
thank you, sir.
very good. Okay, for a short period of time, you guys can come up with this. Is very good lah. Okay, it's just that I have to add something. So, first of all, congratulations, group 2. Okay, and few more things that you have to label. Number one is the object and the image. So you have to label O and I over there lah. Or else the permission not gonna know which one is the object, which one is the image. That one number one. Okay, number two, one of the common mistakes is that student forgot to put the arrow here. I think dia dah letak afterwards, tapi mungkin dia terlari kat tepi tu kan. Okay, anyway, it's a very good presentation. Okay, maybe we can try one more. Okay, group 3. What happened here? Selain daripada tangan menggigil, what else can you say about this? Siapa from group 3? Anyone?
Sir.
Okay.
Kat situ dia punya objek sama dengan dia punya focus point tu.
Yes.
So kita orang lukis objek tu and then the two ray diagram but dia punya two ray diagram tu tak bersentuhan. So dia punya image yang terbentuk tu dekat infinity.
Okay.
So what we get dia real and formed at infinity.
Okay, very good. Okay, so this one is very good. And actually, if you draw it properly using ruler and everything, you can see clearly that these two line yang atas dengan line bawah ni actually adalah parallel with each other. So they are not gonna intersect with each other. So the image form will be somewhere like further, very far away. So we assume that it's an infinity. It can be there or here. Okay, so both answers is correct. You can answer real or virtual. So normally, because it is an infinity and you cannot see the image, maybe you can answer it as a virtual. For sure it's formed at infinity. And there's a significant meanings in terms of formula and all. Later on we're gonna see through it. Okay, and I think maybe you are running out of time. So the remaining group, okay, I will try to screenshot later and I'm gonna put in my notes, and maybe we discuss it in our next class lah, before at the start of next class. Okay, so your task now, I want you guys to try to do like a small notes, and I want you guys to try to draw each one of these position. I mean each one of these, and I want you to write down the image characteristic as well. So you have to draw it yourself. Setakat baca tengok tu is not enough. You have to draw it once, at least once. Then it should be okay. Okay, so before kita habis today, anyone want to volunteer about to conclude what we learned today? Maybe someone, Rakis, macam boring je. Tak Rakis lah, simple kan what you learned today. Okay.
7.1 ni dia basically pasal mirror punya reflection. Dalam 7.1 ni kita belajar untuk nak lukis concave dengan convex mirror.
Okay.
Lepas tu tips yang kata kuali dengan belakang kuali tu dia sama ada dia diverge ke atau converge. Lepas tu kalau dia concave mirror dia macam maksudnya kita masuk dalam cave, so dia punya bentuk tu macam terbalik pada C. Kalau convex dia bentuk C.
Okay. Very good.
Lepas tu kalau kita kena dia ada 3 steps untuk nak tahu dia punya image tu kat mana. Kalau daripada 3 tapi kita kena lukis 2 ray je dalam selepas kita. Lepas tu untuk kita tahu dia punya, kita nak tahu dia punya image tu real ke, virtual ke, inverted ke, upright. Kalau real positive V, kalau virtual negative V. Kalau inverted pula dia punya gambar tu terbalik sikit. Lepas tu dia punya dia punya image dia, high image dia tu dia kecil. Dia negatif. Lepas tu positif untuk dia punya high, kalau upright dia punya image high tu dia positif. Kalau diminish pula dia punya M tu negative, less than 1. Kalau magnify M bigger than 1. Kalau the same size M equal to 1.
Alright. So dia sebenarnya yang magnified tu kan, dia kalau less than 1 tu sebenarnya between dia punya magnitude tau, dia punya nombor tu kalau 0.5 that one yang maksud dia less than 1. Okay. Kalau negatif tu dia sebenarnya adalah magnitude dia tu adalah more than 1. Itulah nanti kita bincang lebih lah bila kita jumpa formula. Okay, very good Bakis, thank you. So senang ke tak today? Apa yang kamu belajar sebenarnya?
Seronok, fun.
Alright.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so we stop here now. Kita sambung tomorrow, okay? See you guys tomorrow. Thank you.